things. What are you saying? I can't see myself because I've got a camera right in front of where I'm looking at myself on the screen, but that's all right. So welcome to the first ever Rasta Maice painting live stream edition, volume 1, series 1, episode 1. Something like that. I haven't thought about the title because I don't actually do any kind of editing. Hopefully, there's a few. Oh, look, have we got Ben Cox watching? Hi, Ben. I'll be bringing something about work. Something about. You don't have to work, Ben. You can just learn how to paint with me. So, we will. I'm just going to kind of pootle along until we get a few people on.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Yeah.
Just wait. You got 3, I think.
Have I got 3? Who have I got?
If you're out there, give us a shout.
Yeah, if you're out there, give us a shout, because otherwise I feel like I'm on my own and I'm going to just go all quiet on you, because I'm kind of a lonely boy. Who's out there? And I'll tell you what's going on. Get on your typey pads. Typey pads. That's what they're called now. Typey pads. Let's have a bit of my drink. Painting easy, base brush, dry brush. Right, so this is not the stream for you, Ben. This is not the stream you're looking for. Move along. So, for Ben, I'll tell you what I'm doing, bro. I've got a couple of my R2D2 dials, and this is not just blatant self-promotion. I have been asked by a customer if I could paint them an R2D2 dial, which resembles this one, this R2 Astromech. And I do believe, while looking at my phone and Google Images and that, this is R2X5, I do believe. And he's black, silver and white, and he's cool. And so far, there's not been too many pictures of my dials painted differently. So this is me kind of doing a little experiment, and I thought, seeing as I'm doing one, I might as well do 2 and keep one for myself, because I don't often get to paint anything for myself anymore. So I thought, why not? Do you know what? I'll spoil myself. And it's always nice to see these things not painted exactly as they're kind of labelled, because it's labelled R2D2, but it is just an R2 unit, so kind of like the world's the limit. Where are we? Base brush, drop brush. This is not the stream I'm looking for. He's so clever. By the way, I've got director John with me tonight, and he's doing all the amazing technical stuff, and he's going to let me concentrate while I'm working. So remember, if you're out there, guys, and you haven't said hello, say hello. One of the biggest things, so I'm just going to chat, right? I'm going to talk to myself like I don't normally do when I'm at home by myself. Don't tell anyone. One of the biggest things with really good airbrush work is masking. And it is really tedious and laborious. But if you do it right, kind of the sky's the limit to what you can achieve with your airbrush. If you don't, then you are kind of limited to what you can and can't achieve. So I'm not happy with that, so I'm just going to cut that off completely there.
If you can get out a few inches, but not much. Just
there we go, in shot now. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to mask these black lines that are in on the top, and then I'm going to mask off. See the black bit, I've kind of put this little grey highlight on. And like when I'm painting, I was thinking about this earlier, I was painting some T70 helmets for customers, and I was putting all the battle damage, and I get right in my zone. And when I'm in my zone, it becomes very organic what I'm doing, and it's more of a feel, which is something that's really hard to teach you guys. Like with technique, it's not just always about technique. So kind of the rhyme and reason behind where the grey's gone is not really got anything to do with a light source. It's just how I felt. I wanted kind of a lighter bit running up the centre, and then I just wanted to pick a few bits out. And like I've painted in these bits in black again. Like that wasn't like, I wasn't not that good with an airbrush where I can paint an edge and you don't get the overspray. You're going to get overspray, so there's a lot of back and forward. Same here, I just caught these 2 corners, and then I'll continue to highlight from those points, and I'm trying to create something that really pops and jumps and is a bit more is a bit more easy to read on a table, and is a bit more kind of akin to a comic book or drawing that kind of drawing, as opposed to just painting a three-dimensional model, because I'm working on a flat surface, so I can add a lot of detail by kind of my own artistic license. So look at this tiny bit. Can you see this? Look at that tiny bit of masking tape on the tip of my blade, because I just want to get in here.
Did you have to cut that piece down, George?
I did. I cut this piece down. I've got some 2mm and some 3mm tape. I'll show you some tapes. I've got loads of tapes. That white one that's just popped in shot, that's bendy tape. And then I've got lots of these yellow ones, all different widths, thicknesses, this sort of thing. And I use a lot of tape. I also, if I want really big tape, I'll use frog tape. So they do this ultra low tack frog tape, and it's yellow. And probably what you can't see just off screen down here, down this way, is I've got, here you go, there's my big old frog tape. So if I want to cut a big piece out, I'll use this. Saves me doing lots and lots of little bits. But I use loads and loads and loads of tape. It really allows you to do stuff with your airbrush that you're just not going to be able to do any other way. So that's a 2mm that's on there, and this is, which I'm about to put on now, is a 3mm tape. So I'm using the straight line on here to keep myself straight. And this is a bit like when I used to do wallpapering, right? So you get to a point, and I've got lots of little tools that help me do this, and I push into this corner edge. Can you see that? Just like you would if you were going against a skirting board with wallpaper, and then you just cut, or you're going around a light switch is a better analogy actually. So then what that lets it do, it lets it keep going straight, and you can then bend it into here. Like I said, fiddly, 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 but worth it in the end. I'm trying to keep that as straight as possible. And because this is low tack tape, so you can up and down and up and down. And then I'm going to cut down here. So I just changed my blade, right? And when your blade's new, it cuts through things much easier, and you're gonna find things a lot easier to do with a new blade like this. So I'm using my little sculpting tool to put it down. I've run along this edge, and that's fine. I can leave that bit on the top because I'm going to mask up this whole centre black bit. So that's my 2 black lines that I've got running on this card that I'm going to keep. Like these black panels, they're going to get overpainted now, and I'll paint those back in. But I want to keep these straight lines, and I kind of worked through in my head which way was going to be the easiest to do it. Was it going to be easier for me to paint it all black, mask it, and then put the white, or paint it white, mask the 2 lines, and then spray those in? And I thought that this way would be... I might be wrong. It's the first time I've done it. So I think a lot of what I teach you guys is the culmination of years and years of getting things wrong, right? And I still learn things every day when I paint, and that's just because I keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And that's how you truly become kind of an expert at anything you're doing. Grab her wingman. So, oh, we got... yeah, I saw your emphases, dude. It was really nice, the one you painted. Kind of a Batman-esque type thing. Really impressive, Ben. Have we got 6 now.
Yeah.
So who's out there, guys? Talk to me. I take it they'll be watching on YouTube, right?
YouTube's always streaming too for the patrons.
Right, so get on your chat on there, and if there's anything you guys want to ask me about, or are working through at the moment and want a bit of help with, now's your time. I've got other things with me. I have got a model with me. I've got all my paints. I've got my airbrush. I've got... Yeah, I'm sure...
A few spoilers for patrons?
Oh,
maybe?
I've also got a few spoilers coming up a little bit later with some dial covers that I've actually got here with me at the moment. And remember, this stuff's just for you guys. No one else is ever going to see this stuff. So you guys get treated special. I'll do my best.
I think we were talking about that. We do alternate live ones that were just for patrons and then for everybody else.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to do a few of these to the public.
But no spoilers for the public.
But the public, yeah, they'll never get what you guys are getting, and they're just kind of to help us drum up a little bit of interest, to be honest, because every bit of support we can get at the moment goes towards supporting the Warlords network. Right, so now I'm looking at this. This is a lot of masking to do, but I've started.
Would you say that's the main difference between brush painting and airbrushing? The amount of masking that you have to do.
Yeah, I'd never do any masking with brush painting.
Yeah.
But there's also kind of finishes you can achieve with the airbrush that I can't achieve that without the airbrush. And I've been painting a long time, and I'm a good painter. I know it sounds quite big-headed to say something like that, but I am. I've been painting for a long time. I've been employed by some of the biggest modelling companies in the world to paint specifically. I've had my work shown all over the world, been in some of the biggest publications, so I must be alright at painting, and that was before I ever had an airbrush. But I think my game's gone to another level with an airbrush. It's a bit like any tool. If you understand that you've got a tool and how it works, you can use that to kind of great effect.
Jeff Ball's on.
Hey! Hello Jeff, how you doing? Evening, evening, evening. Jeff has brought, literally, I had to deliver Jeff's dials in a truck. He brought so many unpainted dial covers. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you've done with them, Jeff. What are you working on at the moment? Jeff will answer. He's good at internet stuff. His internet kung fu is strong. I will go a bit quiet sometimes, guys. That's because I hold my breath when I'm concentrating, and I've not worked out how to hold my breath and speak.
At the moment, a glass of rum.
Hey, Jeff, I hate you. I hate you for that. I had to drive all the way to Loughborough to do this video, guys, so I'm not allowed to have any rum tonight. And all of you lovely, lovely, kind people that brought me rum for my birthday, they were all defective bottles. I got 4 bottles, and they're all empty now. It would appear they all had holes in them, because, you know, it was either a house elf that drank them, because I don't remember drinking them, John.
Not after the first glass.
I don't remember drinking them ever, John. I'm telling you, they're defective bottles, and I advise anyone that brought me a bottle of rum to go back out and get me another one, just so that I can check. Because if it is a defective bottle, I will send a strongly worded email to the manufacturer. Just like Sheldon Cooper.
Jeff's going to be working on his A-wing dials first.
Ah, have you not started any of them yet, mate? You're like my Stephen Hawking's speak and spell.
Yeah.
I love it. I really love it. I love it, John. So I'm cutting little bits, little strips and bits, just to, as you can see, this is a lot of work. More than I was actually expecting, to be honest. Bloody complicated R2D2 units. What's going on here, John?
I blame the guy who sculpted it.
Yeah. You get these people, they put all this detail on. Don't think about the painter. Right, so I've just made an executive decision that I've masked that up enough now. And anything that bleeds, and it is going to bleed, I'm just going to repaint this tiny little bit that's sticking out with a little touch of black, which won't be a problem. So, I've got those 2 top lines. I also want to put a black line just here, because just below it I'm going to do a silver line. So, where were those new tapes, John?
I don't know, mate. Are they not?
I think I've left them out there. There's a 1mm tape.
1mm tape.
Yeah, I've got this new tapes, 1mm. John's just got some tapes in, so for any of you needing this stuff, Yeah, it was a Vallejo one, bro. I don't know what did I bring them in here? I can't have brought them in here, did I? I don't think I did. Or if I did, I've lost them already anyway. So I like being down in the bottom corner. I like it. It's like the sign language people. But I can just do painty signs. Aha! New tape. New tape. So this is Vallejo masking tape. I'll show you under there. 1 mil. It's 18 metres. 18 metres! And trust me, I will get through this. Right, because what I've done is I've done 2 mil and 3 mil, so I thought it'd be nice. Maybe it's just my OCD, but I'm like, well, I've got to surely now got to do 1 mil. And I've never had 1 mil. However, this is very tricky. Look at this. It comes in 2, so let's.
Oh, wow.
So I'm having to. Come on, you stinker. It's stuck itself together almost. Wow.
That's
wow.
insanely thin.
That's insanely thin. Look at this stuff. Wow. I've had thicker glasses of water. Right, so what I do is, look, I stick it down. So I've got this bit, I'll do it here so you can see it in shot there. I stick it to a clean surface. I normally use a cutting mat, but John's supplied this lovely white thing for me to work on. And then I cut what I want with a knife, and then I use the edge of the knife. So let's do that now. So I want a long enough bit to go the whole way across. And then let's get me blind man glasses back on, because I'm blind without them. Joys of watching television too much. At least that's what I told my mum. Yeah, this is a stream. I can say that stuff now, John. John's like going, oh my God! So I actually want this to be right there. Right on the edge of that line. So I'm just going to do this stuff. If my hands get in the way, you're just going to have to forgive me. So yeah, good airbrushing is just like good decorating. It's not always about the paint, it's about the preparation. So that's given me my 3 lines that we can see here, right? We got this black line here at the bottom and moving up 1, 2. And then below that, so we should be here, I'm going to make a silver line, which I'll mask that up again later. But right now, I'm going to mask this whole bottom half off. So you know what? I'll take a piece of this great big wide one. Let's just put that there a second. So that can actually touch that masking tape. Alright, so that way I know that's not going to get any tape paint on it. Right, is there anything else I want to mask? I should really mask the other one. Should I mask the other one, John?
To you, mate.
I'm going to mask the other one. I know this is a bit boring, chaps, but I need to do this.
Well, I'll ask you questions while you're watching the stream.
Yeah, do it. Come on, guys, get your questions on.
I think we've got about 7 people watching.
Come on, you 7 people. We've only had 2 of you speak, eh? I'm an old man, and my throat can only take so much talking at myself. And remember, I'm alone now, so I don't actually speak to anyone for 5 out of 7 days a week. So talking incessantly is quite hard. That bit of masking tape don't look straight now, John. I'm looking at it on the camera. See that bit on the top of his dial? It's got a dip in it. I don't like it.
At the top?
Yep.
Yeah, it is dipped.
Yep.
Slightly.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this there to release the pressure.
So this is what they don't see when we do a video. Believe it or not, we do cut the videos.
Well, John spends probably 5 times, 6 times as long as I spend recording the video, editing the video. So I'm not quite happy with that. So this also shows you, right, a little bit of what I'm like as a painter. I could make myself a lot more money if I didn't give such a... I really care about my work. And for me, quality has always been over quantity. It's a bit like how I sell the dials primed, and that's purely because I don't even want you guys to receive a product that needs to be cleaned. I want you guys to receive, yeah, it's all about quality. That's what you're paying for. Unfortunately, manpower is the most expensive thing you can buy nowadays, and when you put hours and hours into a piece, it can be prohibitive, the costs. But that's the difference between just painting a miniature and creating a piece of art. You know, where those people used to just paint toy soldiers, quick. That's not what I do, and that's not what you guys hopefully are getting from any of this stuff. Is you guys should be wanting to learn a different level, where you are creating tiny little pieces of art. You know, a lot of people always downplay this stuff just because it's toy soldiers. But, you know, I used to do a lot of film work, and when I used to go around the film studios touting my wares, the special effects guys, they couldn't believe I could do it as small as I could do it, and they were worried whether I could do it full size. And that to me is just a joke. If you can make something tiny look real, if you can sculpt in 20mm or 15mm, or paint tiny, if you've got something where you can actually use your fingers to manipulate what you're working with, well, the sky's the limit at that point. So if you guys, the miniature painters out there, are able to work at these tiny scales, I think that puts you kind of ahead of the game, to be honest.
So Alan Barlow's just joining us.
Hi, Alan.
So he couldn't get his boy off to sleep, so he's missed the start.
Oh, mate, it was just me talking at Bengar, telling him he's on the wrong stream and that we're not doing any dry brushing today. Thank you for joining us. But and this will be, you'll still be able to re-watch, won't they?
There will be, yeah. But it's only the patrons that will that get to ask the questions.
No, but what I'm getting at is the patrons will always be able to re-watch these in their own time.
Yeah.
If they miss a live streaming, they won't not be able to see it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about this stuff, you know, Alan. John, who sat next to me, you know, he does all the Warlord streams and he's the owner of Warlords. If it wasn't for John, you guys wouldn't have any of this. Any of it. I locked myself out of Patreon a couple of weeks ago. Well, I didn't. It just locked me out and I didn't even know how to get back into it. I had to bring my phone to Loughborough for John to get me back into Patreon. So there are times where I go a bit quiet, and sometimes just because I've broken my tech and I'm a long way away from John.
Move to Loughborough, George.
Oh, don't, John. Don't. Make my life a bit harder, mate. Make my life a bit harder. I will. So who wants to buy me a house in Loughborough? Because that would really help. I'm a very loving husband. I'm a good cook. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat. I've just thought of something. I'm going to use a bit of this over the top of there.
Oh, you got thin enough stuff to do it now. Yeah.
As a cheat straight edge. So then I can run that along the top of that. Yeah, boy. And then I get some of my 3mm. I need some more 3mm. Where's my 3mm gone? There it is. Yeah, I've got some Nuln oil. What's this? No Nuln oil. What was that in reference to, Jeff? Talk to me, bro. I missed the Nuln oil quip. John, you're meant to be reading me this stuff.
Yeah,
but you didn't get it either.
I didn't get it either.
It's alright, you can have a go at my patrons. I'll give you permission. It's only Jeff Ball anyway. It's not like we even like the guy. Oh wait, we do, don't we?
It was dry brush and shade joke from earlier, I think.
I do-
Reference to Ben.
I do have Nolan oil with me. I got Agrax Earthshade with me, and I do use inks. The thing is people have been kind of sold a lie as to how inks work and when you should use them,
Just push that forward slightly if you want to.
and when you should use them. So everything's about understanding your medium. I was told this years ago by an art teacher. It's more about you understanding what stuff does, and then you'll learn how it works. The trick is that you have the right application for the right job. So where are we going now again with the other one? So it's about that far off the bottom.
So if anybody wants to ask questions of what George is doing,
Yeah, please do. Or anyone wants to ask specific questions about what they're working on, even if it doesn't matter what I'm doing. You can ask me. You could say, right, I'm painting this, blah blah blah. What do you recommend to do that, or so on and so forth. That's the idea of these things.
also we've got some spoilers coming up.
I have. I like how you keep reminding me of that, John.
That's because I'm quite excited about them, George.
I'm quite excited about them. They're very distracting.
Aye.
The problem is like I should be just solely focused on one thing, and then like my Wookiee will turn up and go, oh, look what I've cut. And I'll be like, oh, I can't not stick those together. I have to do them. So here's my ridiculous sliver of tape again, because that's it, thinner than 1 mil, is probably half a mil. Just to get there. Ooh. I might even lose it. I can't believe we got no Clive tonight.
No.
I thought we would have had a Clive on. There we go. That's that. You can see it's just going under that bit.
So you actually use the point of the knife there just to stab.
Just to help it get in there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have
just
got.
literally hold it on the point of the knife.
Yeah, literally, because just the bit of tack that's on the tape will
Yeah.
hold it. I have got these as well, which had gone missing for weeks, and I found them today, and I literally had a little dance. I was like, I've missed you. Where's me? Oh, it don't matter. Right, so let's just mask up this centre section, and then I'm ready to start doing some airbrushing. So now this is like white I'm going to paint. So I've got two kind of ways of doing this. I could go with a blue base coat and work the white up, or I could think about going a more bony white. Probably going to go with the blue, to be honest. I like it. I like the look. I like the cold. Look, I'm folding it like a present. Did you see that? So I'm getting in there with my knife, and the tape's got give to it. So, and you can fold it round corners and get it to stick on what you want. Like if you imagine you were wrapping a present up, so you're folding the edges, a bit of origami or macrame or macaroni, something like that, isn't it? One of them big words I don't really understand, but I use a lot. So back again, my tool.
Background music next time, right?
Yeah, we'll have some background music, otherwise I'm going to lose my voice. I'm waiting for these questions, guys. Talk to me. Come on. Give me some feedback, or how do I know if you're enjoying this?
Alan says, read my mind, was about to ask how to do white.
So yeah, I'm going to do blue, and a lot of people are quite shocked by this method. But I think it's something, I'll do it again and I'll show you. It's one of my favourite colour combos. I use 3 stages. I start with a blue, I go to this like blue-grey, and then I go up to white. And what you need to understand is when you use an airbrush, because you're applying paint in like a diffused format, you change the colour to be more than the 3 shades that you're using, because you can apply it really heavily or you can apply it really sparsely, so ultimately you get these different shade combinations. That's what an airbrush really allows you to do. It allows you this wider use of a single colour.
Push that forward slightly.
Okay, sorry, I keep popping out of shot.
What am I here for?
That's what you're here for, John.
So would you ever attempt a paint scheme like this with a brush?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably end up masking and painting and getting a rough line for myself and then going in. The problem is I want more than just the straight lines with this white. I want to put some colour into it, more than just get these geometrical lines. But yeah, it is much harder with a brush. You risk so much. At this point, you would have painted all the white in, and then you're going to go in and paint this black line. And the minute you paint that black line, if you get it wrong, you potentially could just have ruined God knows how many hours of hard work.
Yeah.
And there's part of me that's like, that can be really heartbreaking when you're painting and make you give up on a project when you make a mistake like that.
Push it forward slightly, Joe.
Yeah, sorry guys.
You always wear gloves when you paint, don't you?
Oh, don't. Just shouldn't be touching any kind of models without paint or without gloves on. The oils just kill and just take off all your hard work. You might as well just not bother painting. Especially it's the edges and things. That's where you highlight, and that's what will get pulled off by your skin.
Yeah.
You also can leave. You could have picked something up on your skin, put it on the model, and then you come to spray over it, and it has a terrible paint reaction because of whatever you just touched it with. And you ruin your work.
It is true. It's often when you actually touch soft paint and it comes off. It's when you actually touch it, isn't it?
Yeah. You got to understand, like, when you put in a little bit of paint, it's such a thin layer that oil and that heat of your fingers and that rubbing it just take it off the edge. And that's probably where you've done most of your work anyways, on the edge. So, I've got them masked. I should get some white on. I'm going to go with I'm going to lean out a shot, sorry, because my paints are down now. Not that one. That one. And that one. And that one. Because I put them at the front. I'm sure I did. Electric blue. So, electric blue, wolf grey, dead white. I use Game Air all the time. I use Game Air for painting. I have a couple of Games Workshop paints. I don't think very much of them at all. That's just personal preference. I painted with Games Workshop for years and years and years and years, and then I got hold of these things, and I'll never ever go back. It's just a much better quality of pigment. It's a much better quality of base. It doesn't dry out the same ways. You waste much less paint like this. It's a better bottle design. Oh, it's just everything, in my opinion, is better like this. So I've got my brush. Let's get her in shot. So let's talk about my brush, because I've upgraded. Everyone. It was my birthday and I decided to upgrade. So I have got, it's an eye water. What was this called again, John?
Revolution.
Right. This is the Iowata Revolution.
Probably said on the side.
Yeah, it does. CR. I've been using an Iowata. Oh, look! I like the reflection in the cup. Hi, Mum. I've been using an Iowata Neo, and I've got it here with me. But this I've only had like a week. I've been using it in my last few jobs, and I love it. It's got a slightly bigger needle, and I'm finding I need to use less air with it. But I really like it. It's got a lovely feel. It's a little bit heavier. John's got me attached to this massive hose. Look at this hose. because he's got my compressor 3/4 of a mile away because he doesn't want any noise, and I hate this hose. It's too big, but I'm doing it for you. So, yeah, look at that. Let's get you right in. Let's move these because I know what's going to happen otherwise. So, I've had a little shake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Plenty. Plenty, plenty, plenty. You don't need to fill your cups up unless you're painting miles and miles of... But you're probably not. And then I will always blow through on my glove. You can see I'm starting to get some paint there.
You like the lid as well, don't you?
So like this, yeah. This is huge. I'll never buy an airbrush unless it's got this lid. And not all of them come with it. Some of them come with open cups. And I'm sure they're great if you're spraying food where you're using inks all the time. But when you're using acrylic paint, that little cap, the half keeps stuff dry. Keeps stuff from drying. Oh, do you know what I've forgotten to do, everyone? Hold on. Rewind selector. I just got to go back to this. Right, let's just get this off. Get this wrapped round the side.
So Alan's asking what's going to be your first repaint from Wave 3?
What's Wave 3? What do you mean? Oh, what's coming out?
Yeah.
What is coming out? It's all the Jedi stuff, isn't it?
The Jedi, yeah.
See, I'd love to say,
Droids.
before, when a wave come out, all I did was paint it instantly. But I've got three Jedi Starfighters at home, the ETA ones. The micro machines is stunning. And I know I'll end up using those straight away. And I've got my arcs all done. Probably the Torrent. And probably Darth Maul's ship. They're the ones that I'd be like, you need to have stuff done. I do have the Sith Infiltrator painted in First Order colours. I used to use it as a decimator. So I've got, funnily enough, a lot of the ships that they're bringing out already painted. And because my time constraints have now suddenly gone all over to doing the dials, I don't often get a lot of time to do anything for myself. So as much as I'd like to, look, I'll show you something, guys. I've got with me.
I was about to say that, yeah.
I've got this with me, Optimus Prime, that I was going to do some painting on, and this was the thing that I started posting pictures of. Right, so the last time I posted pictures was ages. That was the last time I did anything for myself. I just haven't got the time. It's a bit demoralising at times, but it's the nature of the beast, isn't it? I can't grumble. So what I want to do here...
It would be good to see this finished, this Optimus Prime. I think people do love the ships that you do as much as the dials.
Oh, I love painting the ships as well, and if I had the choice, I'd be painting ships.
Especially your custom builds. I mean, the Thunderbird ship is just absolutely stunning.
Well, what I will do on another live feed is I'll bring some of the other conversions I've done for this Transformer theme.
Just understanding how you thought about it, your design process.
Oh man, do you know, honestly, one of the biggest helps is a big bits box in some respects. The internet's amazing now. When you want a bit of inspiration, you go and research something. So I just started researching.
That's right. You can always find photos
of things, and I've drawn a Plo Koon dial, and I found a beautiful face-on image of him, and it just was the right picture that gave me the sort of lines I was looking for to help me with the drawing, you know. So all I'm doing is I'm going around the sides because I want that to go round the actual edge of the model.
Should I just try and tip that camera a little bit?
You can try. Are we tipping that up a bit? Yeah. I think we're a wee bit too much. A little bit too much. That's it. I like it. So I'm just going over this edge here a little bit just to straighten up that line because I forgot about that. This side needs a little bit too. And then here, can you see that's not cool? So I want, it's straight. So look, I've just put my knife over that. I've cut through, and I'll get rid of that bit of tape. So now I've got a straight edge. I'll get rid of that little bit underneath as well. Right, so it's things like that you got to think about. That's not quite straight yet. So let's get that nice and straight. Because I'm going to paint that white round, and I don't want it affecting the other bits. So let's just quickly check that one. Yeah, look at that. God, it's as pissed as a monk in a brewery. So what we got on? We got 9.
Oh yeah, 8.
If you're out there, guys, and you haven't said hello, or girls, or whoever, or whatever, please chuck a little comment up, say hello, let us know you're out there. And if you've got any questions, or if you just want to say hello, you want to tell me what you're cooking, give me a new recipe for Rasta Chef, please do. Right, I need a touch more there. I know this is a bit tedious, but this is the reality of me painting. And if you guys, you're primarily, I should imagine, a lot of these videos you watch is because you guys want a bit of help with your airbrushing and stuff like that. This is part and parcel of it. Ash actually used to say to me, he's going, "You're just the master at masking." And it's true. There's nothing I'm really doing with an airbrush that you guys can't learn. And that's kind of almost regardless of talent or innate ability. No disrespect to anyone, right? I was born with the ability to draw, paint, sculpt. It's just been in me since I was dot. And there's certain things I'll never be able to teach anyone, because they're just me. But a lot of what I'm doing is technique. And airbrushing, it is feel, but it is technique. And it is a lot about this stuff, a lot about this preparation that you're going through to get everything the way you want it. So it's actually a skill set that you really not got any barriers in your way from mastering. Everything's about practice. You're always going to get things wrong. So we're done there, right? I've got me painting my thing. Enough jibber jabber. Let's just test this off. And because I've left that a little bit, that's what I keep talking about, is dry tip. So I just got a little old dry brush. This is pretty much all I use a dry brush for. And I'm just cleaning over my tip. That's going to happen all the time, right? And the more you use your airbrush, the more you will start to recognise when that's happening while you're painting.
Just say you want to pick on an airbrush.
Right, so Iowata Neo is a really good entry mark. Really good. I've been using an Iowata Neo for about 1.5 years with literally no complaints. It does the job. It would do exactly what I'm doing now. This is an Iowata Revolution. So this is the next stage up. I prefer this brush, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be doing a whole set of comparison videos next week. But at the moment, yeah, I don't know, it might be the, what's it called, new clothes, but I love this brush. And this retails at about 120, is it? 120,
Yeah,
130? Whereas the Neo's about 90 quid, isn't it?
68 quid.
68. So
the Neo is a fantastic buy.
But for 68 quid, it really is a good brush. Like, ridiculously good brush.
It's so popular we carry all the spares for the Neo.
And I wouldn't have even considered upgrading. I certainly didn't upgrade because I was like, this brush is no good. I upgraded because John was like, should we do another comparison video? And I'll get you in a different airbrush. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. It was my birthday, so I thought, why not? It's a tool that I use all the time. So I'm just going around those edges. All I'm doing now is laying a base coat. You don't want to try and obliterate. I've missed that edge as well. Back to it. Any more questions?
Cheaper than I thought, says Alan.
Yeah, I mean the Neo's really good.
The compressor can be expensive.
Right,
A decent
yeah. Do
compressor.
you know what? I was just about to get
Yeah.
onto that. So when I started using the airbrushes, they were like a revelation, and I the first airbrush was brought for me from Kev, and it was a cheap little Chinese airbrush, and it was one of those like £100 set. So you got the airbrush and a compressor, and it got you started. And those Chinese brushes, they're all right. They're not what I need on now that I've had a slightly better brush. But the real letdown was the compressors. So I went through 3 in 4 months. Well, they just break because they haven't got any kind of tank, and they've just got this little like a little concertina, and all it does is it just goes back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, and you just get that air. So the air you're getting is never set. It's always struggling to keep up. Whereas I've got an Iowata professional compressor, and I do believe it's in the region of 300 quid, right?
Yours is quite a pricey thing.
And it was a lot of money, but that compressor, I can't beat it. So if I had my finger hold down on the air like this, wait, it'll kick in a sec. Right, it's just kicked in,
It's kicked out.
and then it's gone out,
Yeah.
and I'm still chucking air. So my compressor has the ability to pace me but beat me, so it means my compressor doesn't get hot, and I've always got a tanked amount of air. So I've got a power regulator on the compressor, and it means that if I want, so I'm spraying at the moment at about 12 pound of pressure because this brush has got quite a big nozzle. So if I want to go to 20, I can turn it up, and I will get 20 for as long as I push my finger down. I won't get 17 and then 24. I'll get 20. Like at the moment, I'm getting 12, regardless of how long I hold my finger down. And it's kind of like a false economy to buy the cheapest possible compressor ever. The brushes don't have to be a huge amount of money. A £65, £70 Iowata Neo, if you look after it, has run my business for 2 years on a £65 brush. This is better one, makes sense. I want to step up. The jump up from this, you're looking at 350 quid. And then you can go, sky's the limit. But really, for what I'm doing here, I think this is cool. This is kind of like, if you want to spend a bit more than the Neo, this is a really good choice. And if you want to buy an airbrush, what's that nice Sparmax compressor you got out there? What's that work out at?
That works out about £100, I think.
So John's got a decent compressor. It's certainly not my professional level, but I'm running a compressor every day of the week, pretty much for 8 hours a day. That compressor's going grr, grr, grr. You guys are never going to be using them like that. And the one John's got is quite a beefy one for about £100. So for about 165, you can have a really good compressor and a really good brush, more than you really need. So it isn't a killer. And come on, let's face it. What's 165 quid? What's that? A Millennium Falcon, a Slave One, and 2 or 3 small ships. That's all it is. So you wouldn't think twice about spending 100 quid on a box worth of Games Workshop or an expansion set.
So just talking about compressors, the problem with compressors without air tanks is that every compressor motor has what's called a duty cycle.
Yep.
So it'll be like 20 minutes on and 10 minutes off.
Yep.
Which, if you're doing a lot of airbrushing like George does, is absolutely no good at all.
Nope.
If he's having to rest for 10 minutes in every half an hour, it's useless. Whereas something with a tank, that obviously kicks out, that stops, so it never reaches its duty cycle.
Never gets hot, never breaks.
The difference between George's and you probably see the Chinese ones online that have got a tank is that they kick in and they will never kick back out again while you're airbrushing.
That's right.
They never pump fast enough.
And like I said, that also leads to you not having constant pressure. And constant pressure is like really important. You can't have it fluctuating. The minute it fluctuates, you'll spit the paint. You can damage, and like this is just to the patrons, right?
Yeah.
Fucking up with an airbrush is not like, I'm going to say it the nice way now, messing up with a paintbrush. It's almost impossible to fix. If you get a splatter come out your brush and it's, you know, say you're started at the blue and I'm right up to the white, but I'm only catching edges, and then all of a sudden it goes plah, and it spits out big spots of white paint. Well, you've got to go all the way back to the beginning. Where a brush mistake, if you slip, you could quickly get that off with a little cotton bud or whatever. So the pressure thing's really big. This is really big as well, this water trap. So this is like inline. So this goes straight from the tube, the air hose, to my brush and catches any water. I've also got one at the other end of the compressor, which is catching it where I actually adjust my air. So quick clean. As you can see, paint's in there. I'm not going to try and do this on camera because it doesn't kind of work on camera.
We have done a video.
We've done a video. Literally, all I got is got my squeezy bottle, and I got a jug I squeeze it into, and I just pump it in. And look, I haven't washed it. I haven't scrubbed it, but you see just the action of the squeezy bottle. And this is what I love about this brush. This brush has got a really big opening here, actually inside. So getting in there, and I will need to give it a little scrub because there will be paint under there, but getting in there is really easy. The water cleans it out straight away. This is just an in-between colour change. So I've had another little squirt, another little scrub. I never spray through dirty water until it's clean. It's clean. That's it. That's it. Clean brush. Look. Clean. This is what you guys must do every time you use your brush. If you do that, you don't have to buy a brush every 10 minutes. Look. You see the tip? Get that off. Right? That's just the process of micro fine particles of paint being pushed over it with air. It's going to dry. So clean that off. That's it. Ready to go. So going up to wolf grey.
That's the beauty of airbrushing as well. That paint will be almost dry now, won't it?
That's dry as anything. Yeah. So a little shake. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm going to try and be a little bit more precise. So let's get in here. So let me get myself in a position where you'll be able to see a little bit. So I want to try and put in some of this grey now, but I don't want to obliterate all the blue where the darker colour would be, right? So let me just have a look at this picture. So that's got a black edge on it, and this is all white here. Right, okay. So I'm going to start here at the bottom, and I'll explain what I mean. Let's just... So when you've changed colour, first blow on your hand. So there's a bit of water there. Right, so look, can you see? I'm coming in. It's on the masking tape, right? So I can start to put that paint in. You can see it's like an actual pen. So once you get your flow going nice, it doesn't have to obliterate, and I'm just working. And now up here again. So I'm not trying to base coat, I'm trying to leave that blue into those gaps. You can see I've come back on there and it's made a stronger colour. See this little corner bit? Let's just catch this on the edge without going right into the nooks and crannies. So you see there's all that little darker shadow. It's a little bit hard to pick it up, but you can see the light and the dark already starting to work, right? So let's go in this little bit here. So right, you can't pick this up, but I can start to see this spatter, a very, very tiny bit. Let's see if I can show you it. No, the lights are washing it out. But look what it means. Look at the tip of my brush. Can you see? I've got paint on. And that wasn't because I saw it. That's because I could feel it with how my paint was being delivered. So as you're working, and the more you practice, the more you'll be able to identify when your brush needs a quick little wipe down. So she's got a bit of paint on there that don't want to come off. Careful with your needles. That's it. So we're clean again. And we can go back to where we were. So let's get in that bit. See, now I've suddenly got a way more controllable little bead of paint. Right, I'm not even going to speak now.
We were talking about.
Oh, guys, I've got to come off screen just for a second because I'm a bit too far away from my comfortable spot. Right, so what I did is I angled my brush. So I caught that edge, I caught this edge, and I caught the inside. And again, this edge and the inside, but I still left some dark in there. I want a bit more down here. And just along that bottom. And now we'll start here from the edge.
And this is still using the few drops that you put in.
Oh, there's loads of paint. Loads of paint in there.
I think that's the problem with a lot of people overfill, and then it dries in the cup a bit too much, doesn't it?
Yeah, you only need a few drops and you can get all sorts of stuff. Right. So, catching those edges a little bit, because I want to bring that white round.
Jeff's asking if he's left-handed or airbrushes generally ambidextrous.
I do believe they are, Jeff.
Yeah,
They're not like scissors.
yeah.
It's a bit like a McLaren as opposed to a Lamborghini, where they stick the steering wheel in the middle. That's pretty much what it's like. I don't see why that'd be any different. There's nothing that's obstructing me holding it in this hand.
Yeah,
obviously, it's just not comfortable because I'm right-handed. But
they're perfectly symmetrical.
They're perfectly symmetrical. You left-handed, Jeff. You're rare, mate. I like that. So we've got some of that on, and we're going to do the other one. So I'm going to crack on a little bit quicker with this one.
I think Alan must be a lefty as well.
What do you mean politically?
No, he's saying lefties are the only ones doing it correct.
My argument to that would be that Italians do it best. Madonna had a t-shirt and everything. So, you know, she don't lie. Right, so I'm using this airbrush, and at no point am I suddenly going to have gone, what are done just with the airbrush? This is part of a process. There's going to be lots of hand brushing to get this model looking the way I want it to be. But this blue-white fade with a brush would be a bloody nightmare to do. So what are you working on at the moment, Alan? And again, for anyone that's just joined us, say hi. Right, so
Legion Wookiees.
Legion Wookiees.
Clive says hi.
Hi, Clive. I was asking about you a minute ago, going, where's Clive? Why is he not on? So, you know, I did the furry falcons. Painting fur with this would be amazing. Start off with dark brown. We got visitors, John. Oh, cool. So start off with a dark brown, and then work up through the leather tones with this. And honestly, you could it'd be really easy. Dry brushing fur is stupid. It doesn't work. You get this grainy thing on the tips. It looks terrible. You can dry brush different colours. You can airbrush different colours of brown, and you're done. Really, that's how I did all the furry falcons, all the furry dials. They've all been done with the airbrush. Never touched them with a brush. So while John's not here, now I'm going to change colour. So another little washout. Going to go up to white. Just get me a little cleany brush. We're going to have a little bit of background music in the next one. A little bit of quiet one, because John didn't think of that this time. But I should imagine it's a bit boring listening to me for 2 hours. You do that with Rasta and Ash.
Just ironing out the kinks.
It's alright.
Like shutting the door.
Right, so I'm going to go to white, but there's a couple of bits I want to do before I do that. So, like here, I want to catch this bit without hitting these bits with the white. I want to kind of bring that out now. So I'm actually going to mask up these bits. John's like, what? More masking? Are you mad? Yes, John, I am.
Well, no, because I've seen you do this countless times now. And when you've not seen the process before, it can look a bit confusing as to how it's going to look in the end. And it's not until you put that layer of paint on with the brush and take the masking tape off, it suddenly just all springs into life. It is quite amazing.
It's kind of like you also, as you're working, you realise you found a limitation of what you can do with it. And you're like, I want a harder edge there. Masking allows that too, which it just, yeah, even in between the colours, it doesn't have to be, I don't want to lock off an area, because I will probably try and get that, and I'll definitely get some white in here, but I just want to be able to get really strong white here without going onto this blue. That's why I'm doing this.
Guy says he got distracted watching your Falcon, bro, winning yesterday.
My Falcon won yesterday. What happened? Won yesterday? What won yesterday? What happened?
I don't know. That's what he just said. Got
What
distracted watching your Falcon, bro, winning yesterday.
Ah,
your Falcon.
Lewis. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand. Yes, I missed it all completely. I had my little girl. I have my little girl Saturday, Sunday, and my little girl comes to all the tournaments with me, and she, really good like that. And the past few weeks, I've been at tournaments, and I ain't really had no time. So this weekend, I just switched off all my phone, my notifications, and I just chilled with her. And we went shopping, and we ate food, and we just chilled out. No distractions. So I actually missed it until Sunday evening when I got back from dropping her off, and I finally switched my phone thing back on. And the first thing I got off Lewis was, guess who just won hyperspace? And I told him before he even went, you're coming to Worlds this year. I ain't got a ticket. And I was like, you watch, you're coming to Worlds. Lewis is someone that doesn't believe he's as good as he really is. And
he's a veteran.
He's one of the best players going, man.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. Oh, that was the wrong size tape. I need a thinner size tape. So many thicknesses of tape, John. It's confusing.
Sure, you don't need 1 mil. I think you should use 1 mil.
No, I don't want to use the 1 mil 5 times, John, when I could use the 5 mil once. You're doing it on purpose now, John.
I wouldn't.
You would. So, I won't be long, guys. It won't be a minute. Have you had a good day, everyone? Everyone had a nice day? You all had your suppers? Family's okay, I hope?
Alan says, I've recently done a couple of arcs on your dial covers. You saw my 5 blue and white KHZ at Warlords a few months ago.
Kirax.
Ah.
Kirax. It's not a disease. Wicked, man. Do you know what? Painting should be something that chills you guys out. You know, it's a really good hobby. It's really rewarding as well when you put a bit of time into it. And it really is about time. So don't beat yourselves. Don't think I'll just smash this stuff out in seconds. Because I really don't. I told you I would be very wealthy. And I know some of you guys go, wow, that's quite expensive, £50. It's really not when you look at some of the hours that I'll put into a piece. But that's the only way I know how to get the results I get. And I know that I'm very well thought of in the world of professional painters. So, because I will not compromise on the quality just for the money. I'd prefer to lose money and give you something exceptional. And it's all about time. So, done those bits. I'm going over to white. Have I got any in there? No. I'll catch them bits first and I'll show you what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's plenty white.
Now, if you're going from, say, a light grey to a white, is it entirely necessary to clean your brush out?
Yeah.
You'd still wash it exactly the same? Yeah.
Unless you're mixing a colour in your brush, then that's different. Whereas you want to lighten a colour.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, I always, the minute I'm changing actual colour, I'm gonna wash that brush out. So let's try and put in that like that. So I'm painting a little picture now with a white. Who was that, John?
Ben.
Ben?
I don't think you know.
Oh, right. Just someone thought we were open.
Yeah.
Right, let me do the other one. Oh, actually, let's catch some of those edges. So, same again. Right, so let's peel off those little bits. You can see the contrast really well there, yeah? Let's peel off these bits. So with a really nice little knife like this, you can get under bits of tape without damaging your work. So you can clearly see the difference between the bits I've masked and the bits I've sprayed. Right, let's undo this one because I want to just put a little touch of white here, a little touch of white here. I'm not going to fast about with that. If I want to catch it, I might. We'll see. See how brave I am. So, any more questions?
Not at the moment. All good. A few viewers.
Chat me up, guys. What we got? We got. Is that 10?
10, I think 7, 10.
Well, look. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing this once a month. It'd be lovely to know whether you guys would like a specific week of the month. So, for example, the first week, second week, third week, fourth week. Or would you just like me to change it up and do it at random points? What do you think could work better? Because ultimately, I want to work around you. It's always going to be on a Monday evening. That can't change. And it's always going to be from 7 till 9. We might be able to go at 6, but I think 7's a bit better purely because people getting back from work, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Gives people a bit of time to have their dinner, get their kids in.
We'll still be doing tutorials like.
Oh yeah.
The videos probably a little bit shorter than we've done before, because this will be our longer stint to give people a chance.
So right, did you see that? See the white? See the difference? See the difference between the two? See, I've just blown that in, right, with my brush. So that's the control you can have. You don't have to cane it. It's about, when you work, it's about the angle that you attack things from, right? I'll often even use my own hands to mask another part. So, and you can work in towards it, if you understand. So if you're starting on the outside where there's no paint hitting it, as you bring your brush in, then it just starts to contact that edge and you can see the paint starting to happen. But you don't start it above it and just cane all the dark that you're doing. Just like that.
So it's quite an important little tip there.
See?
What you actually did when you weren't getting paint through, you came back and actually sprayed on your glove. You didn't put more air through the airbrush.
Yeah, I got to a point with my squeeze where I was like, I should have paint by now. I should be having paint, and I didn't quite have paint. And I went away and I gave it full power and I opened it on my brush, on my glove. You can see these little spots. It's advisable to do that. Don't just keep giving it air, because sometimes you will have a little dry bit that will have just stopped the paint for a second, and when it gives, you're going to get lots of paint. Yes, yes. Yeah, happy days. I ain't going in that little gap. Don't need to do that. I'm just gonna cause myself grief. Let's unwrap the present. Let's unwrap the present. Right, now remember, I'm still going to have to do touching up, right? This has got to be painted in black now. And there's lots of this has got to be painted black, and these bits have got to be painted in. But let's have a look. Let's start to take off the... So all that time spent masking up, all for putting it in the bin. Ooh, got a black line. So take your time when you unmask. Don't rip at things. Let the tape come off, like gentle. Right, so most of these yellow tapes, like frog tape, they seem to have a paint block. And what that means is that, especially when you're spraying... Oh, it's so good. It's so good, little smile on my face. See a little smile? That's me happy. I like that. And then just look at that line. It'd be so hard to do that with a brush. It'd be ridiculous. And you'd get 88% or 92% perfect, and you go, oh, and you'd be like, no! So there's a little at least showing you that I know the masking bit's really boring. It is boring, but it's really worth it. So let's start taking off some of this as well. Oh, yes, it's worked, it's all worked. I like it. So I said I was going to have to touch in these bits with black, which I'll do that in a second. But what it has left me, it's left me this grey highlight that I did with the brush earlier. It hasn't touched that, which is what I wanted. I've got two really good straight lines. Now let's take off this bit. So I've got my black nice and clean. And then I'm going to take off this. Alright, so although that doesn't look like this, you can see. That's where the actual model ends and then jumps up. So when I mask this now and just here, and I'm going to spray a silver line, we'll get that silver line in. But look at that. Look at that. From that, so you're looking at that and you're all like, oh, I don't know, it looks a bit crap. It's like perseverance, and if you stick with me and you go through the processes and you believe in the process, when you get to the end, you'll get to the same destination as I got to. But it is about doing the journey. There's no real shortcuts. It is about the hard work. So let's unmask the other one. I really like that. I really like it. I've got a big smile on my gob. This is what you should be doing. You should be doing stuff, and it should be like making you buzz. You should be like, oh, it's really cool. It's really cool. And that's how I feel about this right now. As well, I've been painting R2-D2s. I'm about to paint 12 R2-D2s all at once. 3 days of R2-D2 painting. But I haven't painted any of these dial covers in a different colour apart from R2-D2. So whenever I do anything that's new and fresh, it's exciting for me.
Which one's this? Oh.
This is R2X5, I think. It's this card.
R2X5, okay.
I think I looked for actual proper pictures of it today, and I'm sure it was X5 or 5X. Jeff Ball will answer that. Jeff Ball, go! Wikipedia myself. What R2 unit is this, Jeff Ball? There's loads of them. There's like yellow ones and red ones and...
Oh, yeah. In Clone Wars, there's a pink one, isn't there?
Is there?
Yeah.
I don't see any of that stuff.
QTKT.
No.
Yeah.
No, and whose droid is that?
I don't know.
Does it get blown up, I hope?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Nothing in the exhaust port?
No.
No?
I seem to remember it was like 2 episodes of the droids just wandering through the desert. It was a very, very bizarre couple of episodes.
What was that? Clone Wars?
Clone Wars, I think. Yeah.
Right. He's like, no, I'm not coming off. I want to be masking tape forever. That's it, off you come. You little stinker.
Have you ever had a situation where the paint just peels
Yep.
with the masking tape?
Yep.
It's a nightmare.
Yep. Yep.
Is it just a scrub down and restart in that situation? Yeah.
I've also had situations where, so I did some Transformer ships for Alex Bruce. You would have seen them on the painting page. Did an Optimus Prime, and I did a couple of Fangs. One was Starscream, one was Bumblebee. Easy peasy. That was the easy bit. Optimus Prime, no. So Optimus Prime I did with the same paint of doing my Optimus Prime, the clears, which you can't buy them anymore. They're like £50 a pot of this paint now. So you can see this is
I mean,
this is shot over silver.
transition.
Right, this is shot over silver. So I pre-shade all the silvers, and then I clear it with this blue and this red, this candy paint. You can go back to the other one now. And when I did Alex's, I wanted to do the flames, and so I was using masks, but the clear's like a lacquer. So as I was clearing on top of the masks, it was damaging it as I pulled it. 3 times I had to go to complete strip back with isopropyl proper alcohol, and I probably spent 3-4 hours each time. So I wasted 12 hours in just trying before I spent 10 hours on the paint job. So a job, it probably cost me £150. That's how much money I lost in time spent on what I actually charged, because it just kept going wrong. But it's okay, because I learned what didn't work, which was more important. You know, from like the old Bob Ross in it, happy accident. There is no mistakes, just happy accidents. It was a mistake, but the happy accident was that I learned what not to do again. So I'm just going to touch up a couple of bits with the black, and I'm a bit funny like that. I could move on and come back to that later. But
Jeff says he thinks it's R2X2.
R2X2, right. I knew there was an X in it. Thanks, Jeff. 10 points to Jeff. So I just want to just paint up these little bits. So using Game Air on a brush, it's like perfect. I don't have to mix any water with it. It's at that consistency where it goes to the edge of the line but doesn't bleed out. So it isn't too wet and it isn't too dry. It just seems to be right.
The pigment's still strong in it as well.
The pigment's, yeah, this is my point. You will find, you know, if you're going over white with black, you probably need 2 coats because Game Air is a little bit thinner, but generally this stuff is just amazing straight out the can, straight out the pot. So I'm just sticking to the sides. I don't want to go over the top. I've had a little mistake. I've always got a Q-tip and a little bit of God's moisturiser, which is tip of my tongue. So I'm just going down the sides and just checking if there's been any blowover. Right, so I want this perfect. It's how I do everything. And again, under the bottom there's a slight ingress, so I just go back along that line with the black, tighten it up. We're at perfect. We're at DEFCON perfect. Still got a sneaky bit of tape padding. Right, that's just tidied that up, and that makes me feel a bit better. I've still got other blacks to paint, but that's a nice strong, happy with that. Let's do this other one as well. So for those of you that haven't been with us from the start and are wondering why is he painting 2 instead of 1, one of these is a request from a customer, and I know this is meant to be me doing my own stuff, and it is because I'm doing 2, and I was like, oh, I'd really like one of those, so I'll paint one of those tonight. And then I thought, you know what, I might as well paint 2 of those tonight and kill 2 birds with one happy little stone, as Bob Ross would say. I have to actually watch this Bob Ross. I've never seen it, but Simeon sings his praises.
There's a lot of people like it, isn't there? It's very popular, Bob Ross.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
Somebody's not asked on the stream, but somebody's asked on your actual Patreon.
Oh.
Do you actually ever use blue tack for masking?
Yeah, you can use blue tack for masking. So if you wanted to do like like camouflage patterns, blue tack's great for that. I'd use white tack, and I try and get slightly lower tack because it can damage your paint slightly. But yeah, masking can be really anything. Anything that, if it's doing the job for you, use it. You've seen me when I do like the salt technique with the salt chipping. That's masking. But you're just masking on a level that you could never kind of get to any other way. So we got those two done, and now I should really get that silver lining. No, this should be quite easy, he says, and then he ruins it. I am going to mask it. I was thinking about going, no, George, do you know what? Just freehand it. Be a man. Be a man, son. You're old enough now. But no. Let's have a go. Do you know what? I might even make an experiment. Mask one and paint one. So now, this has got like this horizontal lip here. So ideally I want to stick it like this first. Horizontal lip. I don't know whether I'm using the right terminology. So let's get that down. Do you see what happened there? See that? It stood up straight. You see that? Where are we? So I've stuck it on that edge. And I'm using my... This is called a a wax 5. It's what I use for all my sculpting. But it's awesome for stuff like that too. And then I've folded over the edge. So stuck down here. So I've got this masked right up to the edge because I want that to be a black line now. So I'm just going to gently just fold that over. I don't need that to stick right down. And then I'm going to get a second piece. I'm going to use this wide tape to try and protect what I'm doing. Now you can see these bits, these little cutouts. I want the silver to be not as wide as right to the edge. I want it to leave a tiny little... It'll be more apparent once I've actually painted the silver because that's just pure black there.
Now I've tried to find wax fives and they hold an almost mythical status.
They are
model makers, don't they?
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you where to get them from?
They're dental, aren't they?
No, get them from a place... They are dental tools.
Yeah.
But very few dentists use a wax 5.
Yeah.
As weird as that sounds. There's a sculpting manufacturer in London called Tyranti. Tyranti.co or UK or .com, something like that. And it's right in central London. And as far as I know, that's the only place you can get them. The two I have were gifted to me by people that used to be on the sculpting team at Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm not happy with that. I'm going to put a thin a bit above it.
Don't drink or anything, George.
I've got me Red Bull, thank you, John.
Yeah, okay.
You can have one though.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. So, I don't want to go around the side with the silver here, so I'm going to mask that up. Oh, out of shot. I'm going to mask that up like that. Same on the other side. Honestly, right, I know I come out of shot. It's really counterintuitive where I've got to be.
It's upside down the camera, isn't it?
To when I'm working as well. So we masked up that. I wonder whether I should just mask them both, John. I'm just going to mask them both, John. Might as well.
You're going to have silver in your cup, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is the thing with airbrushing. Once you've actually done this bit of work...
Oh, but this is the last bit, right?
Yeah.
So once I'm through this silver colour, then it's all brush and we're on to the end. Right? And we can start, believe it or not, little things will start making really big differences. When you start putting like extreme edge highlights on things, suddenly it's going to go from looking nowhere near done to, oh, it's nearly finished. Come on, you stinker. That's it. Got it. It's quite satisfying when that works. And then fold that edge. Bend in, nice and gentle. Ba-dum. And then next piece. Okay, I'll just add a bit more.
There will be X-Wing streaming tomorrow as usual, won't there?
There will. But
Tuesday night.
It's not as interesting as this. That's just playing games. Anyone can do that. You don't need a tutorial for that. John's like, don't say that. They'll believe you and not watch it. It's life changing. If you don't watch it, you're failing at life. If you haven't subscribed, you're failing at life. Says the guy that's failing at life.
Everyone watching should be a patron, so
that's right.
They should all be good.
Yeah, I know they're all good. We love the patrons. You guys are awesome. Your Porg dials, for those of you in the $20 category and the $10 category, are currently at the casters being made. And as soon as I get them back, I will be starting to paint those. And it won't be a long turnaround. Once I get them back, it should be a week and you'll all have your dials. We'll be getting the photographs sent off and we'll be having the promo cards made up as well in the next couple of weeks. So within the next 2 or 3 weeks, you guys should all be receiving some lovely prizes. So I'm going to swap out my white, quick clean off camera. I'm going to have a vape as well because I'm gagging. And I know I vape a lot, for those of you that watch me, and you're like, you always got that thing in your mouth, but I used to smoke 30 cigarettes a day, and it's changed my life, this thing. I can breathe again. So think of it as the lesser of two evils. Better than me smoking fags. And I've done it for so long, it's a habit that's very hard to get away more from what's going on in your hand than it is actually probably me needing nicotine. Well, I think I need nicotine now, though, to be fair. So painting is a pressured thing. Painting on camera is even more pressured. It's a bit like when I play X-Wing, playing on stream, and I've done it a lot, and I'm quite good at it now. I'm quite good at keeping calm, but that can tip you out. So let's have a little puff. What?
Oh, look, Jeff sent us a link to Taranti. Look,
that is an SG stainless steel dental tool. It used to be called a Wax 5. There you go. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff Ball, 20 points. 20 points, Jeff. I'm going to have to work out some sort of point system where I can reward people for being really awesome like that. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'm going to reward you all for Jeff's awesomeness. Are you ready? I've got 4 to show you. I'm going to show you 2. Good. I'll tell you what. 2 sneak peeks. Good guys or bad guys? Come on, you got to comment. If you don't comment, I'm not showing you it. Good guys or bad guys first? I'll show you them both tonight. But what do you want? Good guys or bad guys? Oh, I love Red Bull. I love it.
bad guys.
Bad guys. All right, I'm waiting. I'm not just for Jeff. Jeff, you already won. I'm going to give you one of my special presents.
Oh,
when
good.
I see you.
5.
Oh, that's 1 each. Right, we're going to need a balancer.
Alan says good.
Right, I'm going to wait. I'm just going to wait. Come on. There is 10 of you at least watching. Is that right? How do we know what's watching now?
I think it's concurrent viewers down
Come,
there.
right. So we got 8 of you watching. I'm waiting for at least. Come on. We got 2 good and a bad. Let's get 5 people commenting. That will give us. They're all like, there's only 3 of us watching, you muppet. You know what'll happen there is Clive will log on under another name. Did I put paint in there, George? Yes, you did, George. Okay then, George. There we go. John's on 17 devices at once, everyone. So I'll do this bit of silver while I'm waiting for the other two of you to wake up and make a comment.
Alan Byron's commented on Patreon again saying goodies. So he is watching, but he's commenting directly on Patreon rather than on the YouTube
Adam,
chat.
We're going to have to keep both chats open, is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it does.
If you
I do
can,
get notifications.
Comment on YouTube. So I'm just going to... Right, so the good guys are winning at the moment, and even if a bad guy popped up... So with this silver, I'm using this pure... where did I put it? There it is. It's just silver, right? Silver. And it's like the lightest silver I've got. But I'm just going to... I'm just trying to think about where I want to do this. Do I want to start in from the outside? No, I'm going to start from the centre.
That's
right?
actually a model air paint, not game air. So it's from a slightly different range, isn't it? That one?
I don't know, mate.
Yeah, it says model air on you. I guess they probably do a silver in the game air.
So more silver in the middle than on the edges, right? So I've got a bit of a silver band going on, and I'm going to do the same again here. So because I'm going over black, I'm just being gentle, and I can create a darker silver, as well as in the centre, a stronger, lighter silver. I'm trying to imagine it's kind of a round thing, so it'd maybe pick up the light a bit more in the centre.
Alan says he couldn't find the video on YouTube. Sorry, guys. No, it's actually hidden, except to you patrons. You should be able to just click the video, and it should just take you to YouTube, Aaron, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, thank you. And for anyone
it's good that you're commenting.
Anyone that's been commenting and we've missed you, I'm really sorry, because the Patreon is not directly up on our windows. But what we will do is we will change that. So the next time we do this, we'll have it in a little window on one of our screens. John will have it. I just turn up with my paints. Right, so that's done. Let's just quickly unpeel it, because I'm impatient like that.
Yeah, anybody watching on Patreon, if you actually just click the title of the video on the page, on the Patreon page, it should take you straight to the YouTube app, and then you'll be able to comment directly on YouTube.
So can you guys can see? Look, there's like 3 colours of silver from one silver, and that's because, like I talked to you about, that when you apply paint in such an atomized way, you can change the opacity by just not putting as much paint on, and then as you go back and you build up that strength of paint. So look, I've got darks coming out right to bright silver in the centre, and I managed to achieve. Look at how straight they are as well. Look at how, like, I know that it's boring. I hate this too, boring, but that's cool. And that would have been an absolute ball ache. And they're like carbon copies of each other. And that's cool. So, goodies.
The goodies have won it.
Goodies have won it. So goodies first. There's going to be 12 new designs coming for Jedi and Separatists. I think that's what they are, Separatists. Then I'm also drawing another wave, 6 dials, which are all for the Falcon. So you've got the old Falcon, the new Falcon, or the new Falcon, and then it's so confusing, these timelines. Oh, it's like X-Men. There's going to be a Lando dial, a hand dial, young ones. There's going to be a furry Falcon and a Rey. But the next wave is all Jedi and Separatists. 12 in total. I've only got 4 I can show you, because the other 12 are still being cut and still being worked through. 3 of them I've had to completely redraw and start again. Didn't quite work. A lot has gone into this wave. So good, guys, right? So I'll start off with a pleb first. No. I'll show them then, and I'll show them on the overhead. So this is the first of 2 clone pilot helmets. Right? There's the clone armour changed hugely and trust me, I've done the research, and I know that my artwork is caricatures, but they are based on real designs of what you're meant to look like. And this was the earlier clone helmets, and later on they changed to a design that was even more reminiscent of a stormtrooper helmet, with like the round bits and the grille in the centre. That's been drawn and is being built at the moment. It's at home. I've actually got that cut. So that's the clone pilot helmet. First of the characters. I'm proper excited about this. Ready? It's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hello there. Wait. How good is that? Oh my god. Oh, it's so good. Right, so I've drawn Anakin. So I'll tell you who I've drawn. I've drawn Anakin. Anakin's being reworked. Didn't like Anakin at first. So I'm reworking Anakin. Mace Windu. We're still working with Mace because he's hard. Really hard. He is just a bald black man. And I'm caricaturing him. And I've only got a circle to work in. It's just taking a bit of work. Locked down is Plo Koon, General Grievous, General Grievous, Count Dooku. Well, I'm back to wait till you see General Grievous. You're going to wet the bed. Next stream, definitely I'll have General Grievous for you. Darth Maul, Battle Droid, Tactical Droid. I'm doing Commander Cody and Captain Rex in their clone trooper helmets. Ahsoka Tano. I'm trying to think. Ahsoka Tano, Plo Koon.
Ahsoka's got to be the best.
Ahsoka's got to be scaled down. She's so big with her Leku. We've got to make her usable. I think that was about it. I might have forgotten a couple in there, but I haven't got the drawings with me in my head. So
the more observant of people might have noticed I stole some of your drawings.
You did steal a few of my drawings. I'll show you the bad guys in a minute. How long have we been on?
Been on hour 50.
How come we've been on that long? I'll show you the bad guys now. I thought we'd been on. I was like, they're going to go, those Zals are way too cheap. He's painted two in 2 hours. Got nowhere near painted in 2 hours. Right. Bad guys. First one. I love this so much. It's a battle droid. It's a battle droid. So good. Wait till I've painted that. Wait till you see it painted. I'm going to do salt chipping on this. It's going to be that bony colour. Yellow command signal on the top. It's going to look sick when I've painted it. Properly sick. That's your droid. Your battle droids. I don't think anyone's going to buy this. But I made it anyway. So I've only ordered from the cast of 3. Because I think if I sell 2, I'd be lucky. Because no one wants that, do they? Wait. Yeah, boy. Darth Maul, the emoticon we've been doing, this is what it's actually been based off. So this is the hero. It's not quite finished. If you're seeing these deep black lines in here, these will all get edge filled with green. Every single one of these lines I will hand fill with this thing to stop when we create the mould, to stop the actual latex getting in any gaps and proving a problem to pull out. Because there's like a scribed line under this. But yeah, look, he's got his little nose, as you can see. You can see that, it looks wicked. And he's got his actual shaped horns. They go all the way around the side. He's still a usable dial cover. And there's the first 2 of your baddies. Right? There's a lot of work getting them there. Loads and loads of hours of work. So I'm letting you... I really like that I can share this stuff with you. And this is really, for me, this is my comfortable place talking and doing videos. I'm not great with posting stuff. And I know you guys must get a bit infuriated with me, but life takes over. And my anxieties come from actually dealing with the internet. But doing this, talking and having a camera pointed in my face, I'm really cool with. But actual writing things, I struggle with that quite a bit, and I get quite anxious about doing it. So John does a lot of that for me. So, but we've still got a little while. We can keep painting for another 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So I need to, looking at that picture, I need to paint in these top parts in black. I need to paint this in black. and then it's got a silver, which I'll paint, a little silver box, and then a little black in the actual square itself. Then this is going to get painted all in silver. I'm touching the right bit. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you can't see it on the screen, George. Paint all this in silver, and then this black, all I'm going to do now is, as I've oversprayed just here, I'm just going to run a little bit of black in these lines just so that I've got a nice edge. But then I'm going to edge highlight. So I'm going to jump straight up. In fact, let me show you a little bit. I won't try and paint it all, but I'm going to show you a couple of techniques towards where I'd work towards to get this finished. Now let me see if I like this brush. Where's my blind man glasses gone?
So we
No,
said
I don't like this brush. I'm going to use this
just
brush.
over 2 hours would do for the stream, didn't we?
Yeah.
So if anybody's out there got questions, now's the time to ask them, because we'll be coming to an end
Pretty soon.
pretty soon.
So I've got some wolf grey, right? So wolf grey was my second colour. Tried and tested. This first colour was cold grey that I airbrushed on, and now I am going to just add a tiny touch of water with this, because it's actually a really opaque colour and I want it to just be a little bit more forgiving. So because I'm painting a little cartoon, you don't need to go mad, but there are little bits that will really help. So I started on that corner, and then I'll just use the edge of my brush and the edge of the actual model to get a really nice little line on it. Let's have a look if this shows a bit better. So we're starting to pop that edge, right? So then I'll want to catch this little bit. Right up here. Right, so I started to pop out the detail, right? So I'm going to go back to that corner. I want this right on these corners to really pop. And this is when you can be graphic, right? And you'll see a lot of this in my work. I like to just put little, I like to draw. I want to draw a picture, I want to paint, I want to have fun. I don't want to be constricted by what this model's telling me I should paint and what I shouldn't paint. I want to paint the picture I want to paint. So that's a little bit heavy for me, so I don't like it, so I'll just clean it off. And then I'll go back, I'll add a little bit more water to my paint to get the consistency I want. It was a little bit too dry, but I do want to catch something there. But it was just too, that's better. It's a much thinner, it's a much more pleasing highlight, right? So that's something, like I said, back and forward, you can go back and forward. So let's catch a few of these little corners and we'll start to pop out some of this shape and pattern. So remember, right, you're reading this model, you're reading most of these things from a distance. So if you don't have some nice poppy edge work, it's just going to fade into black, and you just see nothing. You want it to catch your eye when you're up here, you know, 4 foot away from it, 5 foot away from it. You don't need it where you have to get right on top of it to see it. You want something to pop. Look, this is my painting style, and it's probably come from the fact I'm colourblind. So I see light and dark. I don't see shades, so I want hard contrast. It's just what my brain sees everything as. I don't catch the in-betweens. I know they're there, and I try my best to paint them, but I also want these non-realistic highlights, because they make things pop. They make things come alive. Let's put a little bit of that on. Let me get one of those. Did you see how easily that mounted to that dial cover there, John?
Yeah.
That's because of the patented Rasta Maice painting dial cover mounting solution. Or the acronym for that is magnets.
Is it? We should come up with a snappy acronym for it.
So let's just catch that.
DMS, dial mounting system.
DMS. Oh, it's like
System or solution?
bit more.
Clive asks, will you be doing any ARC 170 pilots? Wolf, Jag, Oddball.
Well, the helmets they wear I'm covering. I couldn't find specific markings for their helmets. They don't have like unique character helmets. Captain Cody and Captain Rex had specific helmet designs as well, but they were like the ground troopers. So I'd be happy to think about doing them as a paint job if I can either find out that information or you can find that information, Clive. But I am doing two types of clone pilot helmet. Two completely different designs. John's vanished. So I'm just working that edge the same way. So light this corner and light in this corner. I'm not going to either of the other two corners. Oh, look. So I'll just drop my brush on my work. Always have a little cotton bud. I'm not going to call it a Q-tip anymore because this is in England. Let's catch a little bit more on this corner here. Starting to pop out those shapes now. What are you doing, John?
Getting a drink.
Oh, okay. Didn't know where you gone. You should try speaking for 2 hours.
No, that's your job.
I'm as dry as a... I can't do a Roy Chubby Brown joke. I can't. So like really, really thin line highlights. Alright, the trick is nice thin paint, catching the edges and accentuating where you've blown in the other grey already, and it's starting to pop and read. So you can understand the kind of the concept of what I'm doing to lift out this detail. I'll apply some of this on this actual very fine, like steady work, where I'll catch a few bits of this geometric shape that's in there. I'll probably end up catching a little edge of this with the brush, and so on and so forth. I've got this black edge that's just above this silver. I know I'll end up catching that. In fact, let's do a little bit. So because I've got this corner, I want to start at the corner. Let me just make sure I'm not putting my arm in my paint. And then and the same again. And I know this makes no sense. Why would there be light on the underneath? I don't care. Look at that. It looks better. You kind of lose it now with the angle, but it looks really good. There's like a little white highlight, a little hard edge highlight. That's better. Plus you got that black. Then you've got the silver. It just pops. It starts to pop. You can use... So like I'll do little flecks. So you see on the black, I will go in with the white or with this blue and just... And sometimes this goes wrong and I end up using my Q-tip to clean it off. Sometimes it won't even come off my brush. But you can almost dirty what you've done because you're just trying to create a few little... But because we're using similar colours to underneath, we start to put a little bit of damage and a little bit of character into the model. Where this little black line took a little scratch from something. See, so like, it's okay to paint a picture. It's okay to express yourself when you work. Yeah, it's your thing. Do what's making you happy. Ultimately, I'm going to pick out these blacks. I'm going to put the black in here. I'm going to end up putting some sort of light source on this and then just be glossed in black. This will be silver, so I'll start off with like a chainmail and then I'll highlight with the silvers, and then I'll probably use some Nuln oil, but just right in the gaps, and then another again with a little silver, and I'll go back and forward with silvers. You guys have seen me do silvers loads, and then this is once again more just painting. If I want to put any more shadow, I'll go back to the blue and I'll put the shadow in. This needs to be silvered. Just checking on the time, so we're like 9:05, so I'm certainly at a point where to go forward now I'd be spending, I've probably got another hour or so's work, maybe a little bit more, before I get to the point where they've got to be varnished. If you are doing these as well, make sure, where's my varnish? There it is. This is what you want. Rust-Oleum Crystal Clear. It's from B&Q. It's about £9 a can, but it's really hard wearing. Watch your atmospheric conditions. Don't cane it all at once. But if you're doing a dial cover, you're doing anything that's really going to get hand work, that's what you want to use. Your ships, you can use Vallejo Game Air matte varnish, or just their matte varnish. It's normally mixed fine to go through the airbrush. I prefer that because you're rubbing and rubbing and rubbing on these. So, well, look, this is me just messing about. I know it was mainly a demonstration of how to mask stuff up, but that's a big part of what we're doing. My next 3 colours.
Will you actually finish these now for next time, or will you wait and finish them on the stream next time?
No, I'll finish them.
You finish them now?
Yeah, now I've started them, I'll just get them done, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I could maybe leave one unfinished.
Yeah.
And leave it. At the end of the day, just because I complete the project doesn't mean you're going to have learnt any more, because there's nothing really that's going to happen now that we haven't kind of addressed.
Well, you just bring something different next time, don't you?
Absolutely, just do a different project. Look, this is just going to be solid black. Done. It will end up getting a very tiny edge highlight. Finished. I'm not going to shade this with grey. Black. Finished. The same with this whole area. Will be painted all black first, then I'll just paint 2 silver squares. There's like a little rim. If you look at the card, can you see it's black, then silver, 2 little silver boxes, then 2 little black dots. I'll just paint that. That's all it is. I'm not going to be particularly highlighting. The edge of the black again might get a little bit of that grey picked out highlight on the edges. And the silver's just going to get its treatment. There's nothing more I'm going to do on this that's you haven't seen another video, or you haven't already seen me doing here. So the next one, I'll hopefully have come up with another cool, exciting project. I might get back onto Optimus Prime. I might have one of these to paint. I might be doing skin. It's been a long time since I was doing skin. I tell you, I like that little shadow that goes through him like that. Look, I could put his glasses on, couldn't I? Oh, I'm getting complicated now, John. That's never going to work. I can't do it in Rasta and Essa, let alone do it like that.
So Jeff had a good idea. Obviously, post some pictures up on the finished article.
You absolutely will get some pictures of the finished article just for you guys as well. I'll put it just on the Patreon for you lot. It won't be for a few days before I finish these. These are kind of due to be painted with my R2D2 wave. I'm still finishing off. Anyone that ordered off of me for the first order and the resistance stuff, your painted dials will be dispatched to you by latest Monday morning. So 1 week from today. I'm just at the back end of finishing all of them off, and then I'm doing the FFG dial covers. This is how I do them. I paint all the dials, then I paint all the FFG dials, then I ship them out to you. So by Monday, you'll all be getting that. And then if you ordered from the R2D2 range, a week later, the following Monday, will be the dispatch date for all of those. So I kind of missed my deadline by about 5 days. But it's just how life is. I've torn a shoulder, muscle in my shoulder, and I've had a hospital appointment for my mouth because I had a terrible toothache. A couple of things have come up, but letting you know, all your stuff is out, and it'll all be with you. So in a week or so, you'll all have new toys to be playing with if you've painted them. And hopefully I'll be painting some of that stuff on the next one, or maybe something interesting for myself.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if I was painting ships, I often paint ships that I want to play with, but there ain't that much new stuff at the moment I want to play with. So that's why I've kind of
Seeing this being finished would be amazing.
oh man, I want that finished.
Yeah,
And it's the worst ship in the game, right? Like, there's no good builds with this, but look at it. Right, that's a YV666. A Gazanti and 2 tire punishers to make a YV666 that is just useless on the table. Unfortunately, FFG missed their actual game mechanics, but who don't want Optimus Prime? Look, got his things there. Here is where you'd have his the actual badges. You'll see that when I get to paint them. I've sculpted them in, and I get to paint the actual Autobot symbols. And he's got one right on the front. Let's get you up at the front. He's got one that's going to be painted right on the front. But yeah, he is very cool. I'm very, very excited about painting this guy. But he's just a lot of work. I think there's 12 hours in that. It took me 12 hours to lay the base coats down just to put the clear on. There's so much work. My own private stuff is ridiculous. Thunderbird was 46 hours. Exactly, for a ship I used for all of 2 tournaments. So, but I'd never sell it. Like, things like that, the time really pales into insignificance when you get
never
that.
get your money back for it.
It's nothing to do with that. I wouldn't. I probably could recoup the money. Like, I sold the furry falcon and I made the money I should have made
right
for my hour's work, but I regretted it the minute I sold it.
Yeah, of course.
I painted on my page, so I did an RAC decimator. It was a orange decimator.
Oh, that was amazing.
And a quick fit, quick draw. And I wish I'd never given that to its customer. What can I do? He's commissioned it. It's like one of the best things I ever did, and I have to hand it away. It's just one of them things. So Thunderbird's never going anywhere. I'll sell other things before I sell that. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you see these look so different from R2D2. They don't look like R2D2 at all, which is really what I was hoping for. That they'd really be a big difference from the R2D2 doll.
So you'll post pictures of them up soon.
I will do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the next Patreon live, we will be joined by the general public, won't we?
Yes.
So this is what we've decided, is that every other one will just be for the patrons, because we need to promote it amongst the wider community. Yeah,
every other one will be, just to help us promote the Patreons, because ultimately we weren't ever going to start the streaming until we were at the $500 a month, which we're not at. We're still quite a way off, but it's been, a year and a half now, so it was about time to do it anyway. It makes a lot of sense to do it like this. Hopefully in the future, when more of you get used to it, because there is 40 something patrons, is there?
Yeah, 62.
There's 62, so it would be lovely if we could get it to the point where this was so ingrained, where we have 50 of you watching at once, and this can become way more of a Q&A, and maybe where I'm not even actually painting a model, I'll just have some plastic art with me, and I can demonstrate a few things on like flat surfaces, just to give you guys ideas, because you just want to bounce off me. You use me like as a tutorial at that point, right? So when I used to book tutorials, it was £35 an hour for my time. So I'm giving you tutorial level time now for nothing. So use me like that.
Yeah. Use
me like a tutor. Ask me to work through it with you. There's ways with the Patreon where you could literally feed me back, show me a picture, put it on. John will show me it on his phone or on whatever. I can see it and I can go, you should do this. Or that's great, you've done it perfectly, got nothing to teach her. 10 out of 10 sort of thing. So try and use the resource like that. If you know any of the other patrons that haven't watched today, give them a poke and let them know to start watching this. And if you leave us some feedback as well about whether you'd like this at a set week of every month, or whether you're not bothered whether it floats, as long as I give you kind of a heads up as to when it's going on, that'd be great as well.
There are still some tutorial videos coming as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's not stopping, yeah?
That's not
It will
stopping.
be a minimum of one of those a month and the live stream every month. That doesn't stop. The tutorial videos don't stop. Just at the moment, unfortunately, I've kind of at a point with doing the tutorials where I'm showing you a lot of dial painting work because that's what I'm doing. So for me to like create a whole new thing to do your video, unless you guys bang up, you go, look, I'm really struggling with this technique, do me a video about it and I'll do you a video. Especially if one of you puts it up and then 4 or 5 of you jump on it and go, yeah, I really struggle with that too. It helps me to understand where you're at, because I might be at a completely different point in my painting cycle than you lot are at, and you want to go back. I'll go back with you, it's fine. I don't mind explaining things 10 times over or doing a video as a repeat. I'll just take a different subject and do it again for you. So the more feedback you give me, the more I can tailor this specifically to what you guys are working on. Other than that, it's been great.
Yeah.
So thanks very much for watching. I think we're all done for tonight. I hope you've had a good time. John's doing stuff with the computer. I'm getting confused. I like the gold background, man. It's really cool.
Should we just put that on for a second?
Let's just put that on for a sec, John.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get that. Can we get that one out of the corner, or does that stay there?
We can probably.
Oh no! Don't be doing stuff. It's fine. Just for me to look at myself on gold. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go this way. That's better, so I ain't cut my head off. You can still see the dials in the corner. They look really nice.
There we go. There you go. It's just you, George.
No, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sorry if this was a bit stilted. We're kind of learning how to do this, and the more you guys are commenting and the more you guys are interacting, the easier it is for me to bounce off you lot as well. Like I said, it's going to be one next month, so you've got time to chuck up ideas. Even if it was you've brought some dial covers or you brought something and you're like, I'd love you to show me how to paint that one. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, even though we might be open to the public next time, it'll be the patrons' questions that we answer.
Although we're open to the public, the Patreons will be the only ones that will be interacted with on the stream, on the comments wise. So this is still just for you. Open to the public purely means is we're just trying to drum up a few more patrons just to get us up to that 500 a month sort of bracket. So, but thank you very much. Thank you for your patience and your support, your ongoing support with this little crazy project. Yeah, it's just mad, isn't it? Oh, he's done it. Look, he's so clever. Seriously, if you had Babylons, I'd be all over you, I tell you. And you don't know what that means, do you? And that's all right.
I'll probably guess.
John likes a bit of reggae, and I like Babylons.
Yeah.
It's just because I'm on a bread and water diet at the moment.
Are we signing out?
We're signing out because I'm starting to get dirty. John's like, oh, this is bad. But this is a Patreon one. I can be dirty. Next time I'll be all like, oh, yes, please. Could you pass me the sugar? I won't be talking about boobies. Right. I love you all. Thanks for joining me. It's been awesome. Get out there, paint some stuff. Watch the rest of my videos. Peace.